I am convinced that you and I and Jesus on the inside of us can make such a difference. The same power that raised Jesus Christ from the dead lives on the inside of us. And when you've tasted of that, I know what it was like to live hopeless. And I know what it is like to live with the hope of Christ. So I am compelled to take that hope into the highways and the byways. It's not something I have to work up, because hope is fuel. Passion fuels your hope. When you still have that drive and that passion, then it doesn't matter what discouragement, what disappointment happens. There's something on the inside of you. It's that hope and that life and that light of Christ. See, without passion, we can't do anything. Sometimes we think, well, Christine, you're just a passionate woman. And I know that I'm a woman, and I know that I'm Greek, and I know that both of those things help passion. But greater than all of that is the work that Jesus Christ has done on the inside of me. And most of us are leading because he did a great work in us, and we want to see that translate into other people's lives. I want to stir you up today and say, stir up that passion, because you do what you want from passion. See, the hope that enables me to get out of bed and still try to make a difference with these slaves comes from a place of passion. No one has to make me do it. You do what you want from passion. You do what you have to when it's an obligation. When our leadership steps into obligation, we've really lost hope that Jesus can make a difference in someone's life. We've lost our passion for that. You know, when my husband and I first met, I was a lecturer at our Bible school, and we're the same age, but Nick went to Bible college later than me. Now, in our Bible school, we have a rule that students cannot date one another, but there was no rules about students and teachers. And so my husband made a decision that he was going to pursue the teacher. He found out from my best friend that I swam every morning at 6 a.m. at our local swimming pool. Now, I'd been doing this for a year. Never once did I see him down at the pool. Then all of a sudden, I would go to the pool at 6 a.m. There's already a guy in there doing laps. And after about a week, we bumped into one another. And I went, "Hi, Nick, what are you doing here?" And he kind of got that male sort of, "What do you mean, what am I doing here? I'm always here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I love swimming at 6 o'clock in the morning." Now, we've been married for almost 15 years. Never once in 15 years has my husband ever got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to our local swimming pool. Why? Because you do what you want out of passion. No one has to make you do that. And we have to understand that while we have a passionate hope for a lost and a broken world, it will carry us beyond our gift, beyond our talent, beyond our ability, beyond our disappointment, beyond our discouragement. It's this passionate hope that Jesus can, will, and does make a difference in people's lives. I think hope fuels our risk-taking, because when you have no hope, you play it safe. Everything's just got to line up. And you won't step out of the boat. And I believe in the day and the hour that we live in, and the great adversity on the planet and the challenge and the injustice, God is calling his church to go to places we've never been, by pathways we never even knew existed. You need hope to step out and take a risk. What many leaders do is we spend a lot of time praying for signs and wonders and miracles, and then we avoid the context in which a miracle can happen. God's saying, no, I need you to step out of the boat and take some risks. There's a lot of darkness, and rather than running away from the darkness, you and I need to step into that darkness and bring the light of Christ. Matthew 14 says, you and I are the light of the world. You don't hide that light. You take it in and you illuminate the darkness. In John 17:15, Jesus said, I do not pray that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. Sanctify them by your word, because your word is truth. As you sent me, I send them. We don't need to fear the world. We don't need to fear the darkness. The hope on the inside of us, Jesus, this hope we have as an anchor for our soul, both firm and secure, that hope compels us to go into the darkness. I have a little 4-year-old who's obsessed with flashlights. And Sophia is, Mummy, can I have a flashlight? When you come to America and you're Australian, you really can't wait to go shopping into Walmart, because Walmart's like a tourist attraction for an Australian. It's awesome. You can't go anywhere in Australia where you can buy a refrigerator, breakfast cereal, and, underwear at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's fantastic, but you can here. So we all go in there and we kind of like Twitter, I'm in Walmart. All the North Americans are like, so what? All the Australians are, I wish I was there. Anyway, so it's just, we're simple people really, people from down under. But anyway, and so I took her to Walmart and I bought her a flashlight. And she, wanted a Barbie flashlight because she loves Barbie. And so I bought her a Barbie flashlight. I put batteries in it and I was paying for it. Now, I don't know if you're very familiar with the lighting in Walmart. It's fantastic, kind of fluorescent, bright lighting, and great for mood. And so she was there, and she was flicking on the flashlight as I was paying, and obviously she couldn't see the light because there was already so much light. And I'll never forget this. As I'm paying, she yells out to me and she said, "Mummy, can we please go and find some darkness?" Now, when she said that, I froze, and I thought, the kid has got a clue. She understands what the purpose of light is for. It's not to be scared of the war and the famine and the poverty and the injustice and the big global issues and the lonely person and the person that, doesn't have anything. It's saying, no, I don't want you to run away from that. I don't want you to fear this world. I want you to take the light that I've put on the inside of you, and I want you to go and penetrate that darkness and illuminate that darkness with the life and the hope of Jesus Christ. That's the job of the church. That's why God plants us all over the world. That's why I love speaking in this kind of context to leaders all over the world in so many cities, saying every bit of light matters. If I put Sophia in a dark closet with no flashlight, she starts screaming with fear. But you put the flashlight in her hand, a tiny little flashlight. She's like, I'm going in darker. I feel a little bit like that when it comes to the issue of human trafficking. I'm not running away. Greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. And it doesn't take much light to dispel the darkness. You've just got to have the courage to take a risk and step into that darkness. The reality is today, you really might not be feeling that full of hope. And I want to encourage you not to give up. You might be a senior pastor and you know what? You feel like your church is going backwards and not forwards. My prayer is that right here at the summit this year, you can have the strength and courage to see that hope come alive on the inside of you and keep going. Maybe you're planting a church and you've got a huge dream, and what you see in reality is so far removed from that. Don't lose hope today. Maybe you're a young woman with a vision, but perhaps you're part of a tradition that at the moment, you don't feel like you're released. Don't lose hope today. Maybe you're a business person and you've lost everything in our current economic climate and you've got a God dream. Don't lose hope today. Perhaps you're a youth leader and you feel like your church isn't kind of supporting you or youth ministry in the way that you would like. Don't lose hope today. Maybe you want to start a justice project, but you don't even have enough money to get it off the ground. Don't lose hope. Keep believing God. Maybe you're divorced and your family life's fallen apart and you think it's all over. Today, don't lose hope. I want to tell you the book of Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 12, the prophet says, "Return to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope." And I believe God wants His leaders to be prisoners of hope. And that stronghold is Jesus. Our hope does not lie in the size of our churches. Our hope does not lie in the size of our budget. Our hope does not lie on where we are geographically, on what resources we have, on who we know, on what our education was, on what we're connected to. I'm living proof I don't have any of that. Our hope lies in this fact that Jesus Christ came from heaven to earth, died on a cross and rose again from the dead so that every single person, regardless of how they started in life, can have forgiveness for their past, a brand new start and a hope for the future. Our hope lies in Jesus. That's our hope. Jesus, this hope we have as an anchor for our soul, both firm and secure. And you know what? We all ought to have an unshakable confidence in God. I pray that we go home from the conference and like Abraham, the Bible says in Romans 4, who contrary to hope, in hope believed. And maybe you're facing circumstances and they seem so contrary to hope, but in hope, I pray we believe. The Bible is full of examples of people who were facing seemingly impossible circumstances, but they never lost hope. Imagine how Moses felt when he came to a Red Sea and there was a whole Egyptian army behind him. It seemed hopeless. Imagine how Joshua felt looking at those thick, impenetrable walls of Jericho. It seemed hopeless. Imagine how Gideon felt when he had basically a whole Midianite army against him and only 300 men. The odds were stacked against him. Paul and Silas would have seemed so hopeless as they were chained in a prison cell. But let me tell you, God is in the business of doing miracles, and what is impossible with man is possible with God. God parted the Red Sea for Moses. The walls of Jericho did come tumbling down. Gideon did defeat the Midianites. Paul and Silas were set free. I'm telling you, we are on the winning side. Jesus Christ rose from the dead. There is a great hope on the inside of all of us, and his name is Jesus. So how do I end this? I'm passionate because once you have tasted of this hope, you can't lose sight of it. It's Jesus. People will let you down. Things won't work out, but Jesus is an anchor for our soul.